So I just said, screw it. I'll just call myself the Dream Killer then. I'm going to ruin everyone. I don't know. Did any of my fans ever ride you?
Bunch of big Phil Heath hate these.
As you can see today, it can, but sometimes it divides us. Would talk trash about Jay.
तो क्या हाल चाल है दोस्तों, स्वागत है फिर से एक बार आप सभी लोगों का बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटेड में। तो इससे भी पहले मैं एक पार्ट डाल चुका हूं, जिन्होंने चेकआउट नहीं किया जाके चेकआउट करना। बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक की मैंने उसमें सिलेक्टेड करके वो वीडियो डाली है, आप लोग काफ़ी मजा आएगा वो इंटरव्यू देखने में। एंड ऑल्सो इस इंटरव्यू में फिलहीथ बात करते हैं अपनी ग्रेट राइवलरी जो कि काइग्रेन के साथ थी, एंड वो सोशल मीडिया की जो कंट्रोवर्सी आज के टाइम पे जो इतनी सारी चीज़ें चलती हैं बॉडी बिल्डिंग को लेके, कैसे वो खराब कर रहे हैं, सब कुछ वो बात करते हैं। ये भी काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग इंटरव्यू है जिसमें सिलेक्टेड टॉपिक ही मैं लेके आया हूँ। सो वीडियो को एंड तक देखना एंड सब्सक्राइब कर लेना बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटेड को।
Was over the weight limit, wasn't able to enter. You're probably going to be seeing him in the UK. But when you're training for a class that has a weight limit, there's got to be a different mindset. I mean, Ronnie, Jay, Phil, Kai, you guys are always pushing. Obviously there was a need to keep an aesthetic, but it was get bigger, get bigger, get bigger. You're always limited a little bit with that weight class. So when you're going into the gym, it can't be, hey, I need to slap on 80 pounds. How does that training look, knowing that there is a cap to how big you can get, I guess?
Yeah, to be honest, this last off season, I did train like a true bodybuilder, if I'm very honest. And also, I mentioned Arnold being my idol, but I did watch Ronnie Coleman's DVDs, of course. That was honestly the first touch I got with true bodybuilding and how to train hard. Those T-bar rows, those bent-over rows, that bench press, all those old school movements, that's what I used to do as a kid. And that's what I kept doing for a lot of years. And I know, even though I'm doing classic physique, the basics will always remain the same. It's putting on muscle, working out as hard as you can in the gym. Because I think a lot of people have the thought that classic physique competitors, they have to train in a certain way because they're afraid they will put on too much muscle. But there's a little truth to that you don't want to put anything else on the waist, for example, because you want to get that V-taper. But to be honest, I still train literally as hard as I can. For example, in my case, I wanted to bring up my legs. Legs, you have to train hard to get some pounds on there, for sure. So that's what I've done all year, eating more food on the leg days to make sure I have all the energy and recovery I need to build mass there, for sure. And that's where I put most of my pounds that I still had left in my weight cap. And the upper body was already pretty much there, so it improved a little bit, but it was mostly about the proportions, which is what classic physique is all about. But yes, you're very right. You can't just think, oh, I'm going to put on just general mass just to be the biggest guy. You have to think, where am I going to put that mass? And it's all about creating that perfect proportion for yourself. Like Andrew said, you look in the mirror, you see how do you improve upon that guy. So I don't really look at the competition so much because everybody, especially in classic, is so different. So everybody, like sometimes every year, the winner looks so different compared to the year before. So you really have to be your own best. And that's what I've done. And for me to be my own best, I had to get better proportions because I know exactly what the judges' feedback is, what people are saying online. I see it myself. You have to take it seriously, and that took some time. So this off-season was a true bodybuilding growth off-season with, in the back of my mind, okay, pick the movements that put mass exactly where it needs to be without going anywhere else unnecessarily. So you do stay below the cap as much as you can, so for the future, you have more room to grow. And that is definitely my intention, also for future shows like the Mr. Olympia.
And now, Phil, Wesley's talking a little bit about, seeing what people are saying online, getting feedback from the judges. It's interesting when we talk about online and in social media, and it's easy to forget, here in 2026. But, when Facebook started, it was kind of for college kids, and then it was kind of just for friends and family. Instagram, I don't think, started until, I want to say, 2011 or 12. You were really the first Mr. Olympia during the social media era as we know it today, and it changed everything. It gave fans the opportunity to kind of have this one-on-one interaction that we really never saw before. Of course, there was the discussion forums, but those weren't necessarily the same thing as Instagram. But it was a little bit of an interesting navigation for you. Jay didn't really have to deal with it. Again, Ronnie kind of just in the magazines. You were the first true Mr. Olympia during that social media era, and it's changed everything. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh, man, I mean, you're absolutely right. I believe, like, social media was there just to connect us, right? As you can see today, it can, but sometimes it divides us. Within bodybuilding, I mean, you're actually being adjudicated by judges, but also fans, and with, you know, sharing things online, you're sharing information, you're trying to connect with people. I really found that social media in its essence was all about that initially, coming from those discussion forums. And then it was just like, have a good day. Here's my food. This is what I train, to then like always feeling like you're never enough. And I felt like, man, that's really difficult because, you know, we're imperfect, yet trying to be perfect. And I know everybody in here feels a little bit insecure, like when they see themselves in the mirror sometimes. And the noise increased every year. Social media for me became like the 12th man, you know, in a football game. And look, everybody is going to have their favorites. And some reason, like for me, it was like, you got your fans, but you always want more because you want to feel appreciated for the work that you're putting in. But, you know, the magazines usually protected us from people that were, you know, trying to hurt us. And, you know, it's hard because, you know, winning, like Jay said, I mean, I still remember that phone call. I was in my kitchen and, you know, Jay and I were talking and he really grilled me. And, you know, he was really preparing me when he said becoming a champion. I always felt like heavy as the head that wears the crown. I was very lucky to be able to see Ronnie Coleman win and actually the torch be passed to Jay, to see Jay actually lose and see how those people, there's a lot of people that would talk trash about Jay, and Jay did nothing wrong. So in my mind, I started realizing, like with social media, I'm like, these people are gonna love you, Phil, and they're gonna talk trash behind your back. They're gonna love you one moment, they're gonna leave you the next. And it created like a sense of like a fear of abandonment for me. I grew up as an only child and, you know, like both my parents worked, so I felt abandoned a lot. Not like I was being neglected or anything, but with social media, I felt like there was less connection. So yeah, you know, when you're winning, everybody has something to say, especially when you're winning multiple times. And I remember I had to go back to like watching I collected pretty much every Mr. Olympia contest, even on the VHS, the DVD, from when Arnold was winning, Lee Haney. I grabbed all those videos. But one of them was, there was a year where Ronnie Coleman won, and he was winning, and, you know, a couple people had something to say in the audience, you know, like people were very vocal back then. And Ronnie was like, you can boo if you want to. You know, I won, and that's that. And I had to replay that in my head. Like, it's okay, Phil. Like, there's going to be people that, you know, wanted to see their favorite win. That's got to be okay. Like, you got to learn that that's okay. They hated Jordan, you know, like they hit on LeBron. Like, it is what it is. But it's really just the fact that, like, you're presenting something so good that maybe they just want to see a change. You know, variety is the spice of life, and you should always walk into it knowing that we're all champions. You, the audience, like, you guys get to marvel at everybody. It can't just be one person. It has to be, and so, you know, I battled with it a little bit. I guess for me too, like coming from a previous sport of basketball, I love trash talk. So if like someone said something, I'd want to fire it back at them, you know? They'd say like, yeah, you suck, this, that. And I'd be like, well, it's gonna suck when your favorite bodybuilder gets their butt whipped in 6 weeks. But then you realize it can get very dark. And you start feeling like a sense of, man, like you're not being in your body, like you're not being in your true spirit. And, you know, I wouldn't say wasted a couple years, maybe going back and forth with a few fans, but I definitely feel like I could have handled it a little bit better. But it was really just the fact that I saw myself trying to break a record, and I felt like maybe I should just use that as fuel. But when you use negativity as fuel, man, it definitely develops a level of hollowness. You develop a hollow victory, and that even took a way that I just didn't like. But when you start saying something, you know, that someone may not like, and you just focus on that negative stuff, you ruin the light that's within you, and you just start seeking darkness. And you know, I had to pull myself out of that. One of the things that I noticed, like when Kai and I were getting after it, everybody roots for the underdog, right? Everybody's going to do that. Jay, I saw it with Jay. He used it as fuel. Kai used it as fuel. And I just said, you know what? Can you take it? Can you really take it? Because you're gonna have to take this adversity. So I just said, screw it. I'll just call myself the Dream Killer then. You know, I'm gonna ruin everyone. Like Ronnie said, you want to go to war? Let's go to war. But again, like it's, I reminisce now. I realize like winning those titles, it was fun. But for everybody out there, like you don't always have to look in the mirror in the gym and talk trash about yourself. You know, you don't have to call yourself a bunch of bad names to go get another rep in. What you need to do is pour greatness into yourself, speak positive to yourself, and step into your own level of greatness. But with social media, you know, I felt like it was necessary for me to go through it, and it built me up as a better human. It allowed me to see my own weakness. It allowed me to see my own brokenness. God actually definitely showed me my own brokenness, and I definitely appreciate my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for showing me that, because without that, I wouldn't be here. It allowed me to connect with other athletes in different sports. It allowed me to connect with fans in all different parts of the world. It allowed me to explore different things within, you know, even politics and everything, just to see what people are going through. The DMs that you receive, that we receive, are just things that I took with me. Like usually about 30 days before the Olympia, I would call it like my 0 dark 30, and I would just say I'm gonna get off of social, not post anything, because I need that real laser sharp focus. But I read everything, and then I started appreciating everything. If I can get a negative comment in my DM, I'm like, well, that's just how he feels. I guess I got to keep going, so then I don't make that a reality that I'm going to lose. And then you have the people that are telling you about how your video helped them get through a level of their own personal darkness where they may want to commit suicide or something. So I felt like social media was, you know, great. I still think it's awesome. I just want to tell everybody that try to use it as positive as you can. And if you are noticing that there's some negativity, start looking in the mirror and asking yourself, how's your heart doing right now? What your heart posture is right now? What it is that you truly want right now? And if there's someone that has something that you want, maybe it's just for them for that season of time. Maybe that title is for that person, that job, that relationship is just, that's for them. What is it that God has for you is so freaking important. And the alchemy of this life is about how you see yourself in your heart posture more than any muscle could ever provide you guys enjoyment with. But I'm very thankful with social media. We were able to have a live stream to be shown around the world. I think these athletes now have greater opportunity because of the fact that sponsors, you know, can actually see them in their homes, how they treat themselves and other people. Because when you're being paid to represent a sport, you know, people are pouring money into you guys, and I'm just talking to you guys right now. You got to remind yourself that you're wearing a nameplate, not just of your name, but the stage here, the stage at the Olympia, the sponsors that you have, your creator as well, your family, and you just have to remain consistent of evolving. And don't feel like if you say something wrong on social media that you're going to be crucified. You're just not. It's just a moment in time that maybe you had a sense of weakness, but through that weakness you can be strong. Through that weakness you can be better. And that goes for everybody. We're all broken, but we get, you know, picked up maybe by a message, and I thank everybody for those messages. But yeah, man, social media is pretty funny, because through those years with Kai and I were getting after it, the things that people would say, dude, like, I don't know, did any of my fans ever ride you, Kai? Yeah. Anybody ever talk trash to you? Yeah?
I remember at the Olympia, I walked to the front of the stage and I was feeling alive in my own power. And at the foot of the stage, there were about 10 rows deep, a bunch of big these philheath fans. They were like their, what was it? It's like a poster.
Oh, like the cutout, the things you put on the wall, but like
And
you hold
they
up.
popped up out of no. It was like I was in the wrong place. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it was frightening. It was like, wow, okay, this is not where I need to be. Yeah. Your fans. Yeah, and that was at a memorable moment too, right at right at the competition. Yeah. As far as on social media, yeah, I mean you have a lot of fans and enthusiasts, and you know, believe it or not, the enthusiasts are just as intense, and sometimes even more. You know,
I think they were crazier than we were in some aspects.
there's
I think they were
probably
the-
some
they were the
fan
inst-
right
they were
now
the
that were like,
instigators.
"This doesn't happen.
They were
this
the
shouldn't
instigators.
happen."
Yeah, they were the instigators, I think. Even when we got, I think, I would just say it, like, I think when we were getting into it on the stage, it was more predicated on what people were, like, our teams were going at each other harder. It's like being in high school and, like, you're at lunchtime, you're like, you hear what he said? Oh, yeah. What? He said what? He said what? And then, oh, you hear what he said? And then by the time after school comes, like, we're over here, like, ready to fight. And it's like, nah, like, that really was them. Because I still remember on the Olympia when we were getting into it, I realized, it was really the fans that wanted it, but then when we were really about to do it, they didn't want it no more.
I think people realized we could have gotten in trouble because I remember,
Yeah.
I remember like, wait, hold on,
Yeah, slow it
worked
down.
real hard to get here. This is like about to get disqualified, and I didn't come for that.
No.
I didn't want to be disqualified, but
Two big muscle dudes up on stage, oiled up, about to. That's not the type of fighting we need. That's a little weird, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's not a good look. That's gonna go viral in a different way.
I didn't think it was at the time. There's like Steve Weinberger was on the microphone. I remember, and there was an energy. I remember that I felt
Yeah,
some rows back in the even in the judging pit, and it felt like, oh snap, this just went the wrong way.
Quick.
Like really quick. I almost thought that they weren't gonna have us like removed from the stage. It was like, wait, hold on. Wait, this is we cool. We got this. This is not this isn't gonna go anywhere else. Like there was a moment where it felt like any second we were all gonna be called back off the stage.
yeah.
And something else not so cool was gonna happen. And I didn't I really hoped that was not the case. And it was a moment in my thinking that was like, damn, what just happened?
Then I thought the only the bad thing that happened with that, I think for me, was that I realized the prejudging basically is over at that point. They didn't compare us at all after that. And with that elevation of intensity, adrenaline, rage, washed my body out. Like I was spent. I wasn't ready to do any more posing. I was just like trying to collect myself emotionally.
Which
like,
was all the more reason to keep going.
they turned on the house lights, Kai. Like they were like, no, like it was like pitch black, like this, and then they turned the house lights on, and then spread out. That was like a shockwave, dude. Like when Big Steve said that, I was like, oh boy, like, okay, sorry, principal.
Yeah,
we were,
that is what
yeah,
it felt like.
yeah.
That is what it felt like. Yeah.
We probably need to see like what the other I want to know what the other competitors probably felt like, because I never asked them. Like, what was y'all doing? Like, when they were probably thinking the same thing. Like, they done messed up this whole damn show.
Yeah, you know what? That because backstage, you know, people were concerned about who was in the same room and not being in the same room at the same time, and it really almost started to feel like it became a big distraction, even to like the day of the competition, yeah, that wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't what. Even though it was intense, I think that there's those moments where it's like, you work too hard, you
Yeah.
come too far, and you get there, and it's just like, you know, sometimes even just in the moment of the public opinion or even the opinion of even someone that is already on one side or the other, it can just be like, you know what, that's it. That's all I needed to see. I don't want to see these guys together anymore. I don't need to see anything else. I'm going to go with my own opinion, and that's it, you know. And then technically, you can look like you were a little too aggressive.
All right, ladies. So we're just gonna give Ronnie a minute to exit the stage here. He's got to go take care of.
सो गाइज आज की इस वीडियो के अंदर तो सिर्फ इतनी अपडेट्स थे। सब्सक्राइब कर लेना बॉडी बिल्डिंग अपडेटेड को बॉडी बिल्डिंग की दुनिया से जुड़े ऐसे ही लेटेस्ट एंड इंटरेस्टिंग अपडेट्स देखने एंड जानने के लिए। बाकी गाइज मैं मिलता हूँ नेक्स्ट वीडियो के साथ में, तब तक के लिए बाय गाइज। बहुत जल्दी मुलाकात होगी फिर से बॉडी बिल्डिंग से जुड़े अपडेट्स वीडियो के साथ में, तब तक के लिए बाय गाइज।